What bull crap you gonna give me?
You're really passionate about this
topic, bro. I'm hot. Like I'm hot because like you know how some people like they genuinely care for art, and there's some people that like they haven't even seen the art yet. They just see a cover or they see a name list and they just say it's the worst thing ever. They start bashing everything and people's talent, and it's nerve-wracking and it's freaking annoying. Like some of y'all comic book fans are suckers. I'm sorry. They really are.
You know, I'm going to cut you off for 1 second. I want you to keep that same energy when we review the Secret Invasion finale.
Oh, we can look. You want a 2 for 1? I don't care. That's how I'm feeling right now. I don't care.
Well, guys, welcome back to another episode of the New Black Nerds podcast. I'm your host, Chris, a.k.a. Prince, with my very passionate co-host, Darron, a.k.a. Medic Grizzly. Darron, how you feeling, bro?
Feeling swell.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So, Darron, yes. Why don't you tell the folks what we're covering today? Because you seem to be very, very bothered by it.
What's up, everybody? I'm still a nice guy, but we're covering Green Lantern. DC Comics dropped the animation film last year. It was called Beware My Power. But this particular film is on HBO Max, and it highlighted John Stewart and the different path of it. Now, there are some people who love Hal Jordan, and that's it. If it's not Hal Jordan, they don't want to see it. Respectfully, all of you can kiss my ass. I do not like people like that at all, and it freaking is a reason why we're probably having a good Green Lantern movie that was successful, or even just continue with TV shows or trying to put Green Lantern into it, because the fandom is atrocious. They are basically pacified. They are complete jerks when it comes to anything that's not Hal Jordan, and it's so stupid. People who love Green Lantern, you understand, it's a police corporation. It's a bunch of different Lantern. You can fall in love with Kyle, with Guile. John, it was the man. I don't know about you, but when I first introduced was the Justice League. That was, as a child, watching that show, it made me actually care more about comic books, period. You had a person of color, Green Lantern, bald head. It was freaking amazing. So when I heard about them having a movie with him, I'm all game for it. Why was every review that I witnessed 2 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10? And the reason being because it wasn't a comic accurate story. Guess what? Most of your MCU things are not comic accurate. It's not possible. There is actually art that has been taking place from someone's mind onto a storybook, and then time happens. They have to go with time, they have to make stories work, and sometimes it's not going to be page for page verbatim. It's not always going to be that way. If it's a good story and it fits well with the character they have, embrace it, love it, move on from it. But if you people out here say if it's not Hal Jordan, you freaking can't stand it, I don't want to watch it, and bash it so everyone thinks it's a terrible movie, I can't say what I want to say, but you know how I feel about you. Do those things. Step on Legos. Do what you gotta do. It's okay. I cannot stand people like that. I cannot stand, the reviews are ridiculous. And you had Hal Jordan in this film, bro. You had him in this film. And they still never had a problem with it because he wasn't the mainline person. Get over yourself. It was actually a really, really good film. I enjoyed it. I really did. So everyone else,
I will never get over Step on Legos. That's going to be my go-to insult now. Instead of telling someone to go play in traffic, I'm going to tell someone to go step on Legos.
Step on them twice. Good. And then when you're done and you're like, ow, ow, I hope you stub your toe in the corner of your bed. That's how I feel right now. Wow. People who criticize films without watching the film, you are a special person that I just want to smack sometimes. But anyway, I don't promote violence. I don't do all that. But anyway, go ahead. Did you enjoy the film?
I did enjoy the film. But I'm more concerned about your emotional state right now. Do you feel better?
Yes and no, because you're part of my wedding. Green Lantern, John Stewart was such a key thing. People love Static Shock. Some old school cats love Black Lightning. There are some characters that you grow up on that you just marvel in. Like you just that means a lot. And Green Lantern and John Stewart is one of those characters for me. That everyone at my wedding had a superhero shirt under, because it represented who they were and what people like. So when I see people bash something because that person doesn't look like what you want that person to be, it gets on my nerves. Rate the film for what it is. She-Hulk, it sucked. I will tell you, it sucked. I love Hulk, but it sucked.
You know,
this movie did not suck.
I could have sworn we had made a pact that we were
No,
never
no.
going to speak
I'm
of She-Hulk
sorry.
on this podcast again.
I will watch She-Hulk again more than deal with people like this who can't stand that movie because it's not
How about we just choose neither?
I like that too. Let's rock with that one.
So, anyways, Darron, my thoughts on the film. I personally really enjoyed it. I thought that it was a great kind of non-origin story about the Green Lanterns in the greater DC universe. They, like, very early on in the story, they made references to the Flash, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman. So we know that the Justice League exists. So what I like about this and what I think could be really good news and really good time, because this came out last year.
Yes.
Right? For James Gunn's live action DCU is he mentioned their Green Lantern TV show that he's going to do is going to feature multiple Green Lanterns. Yes. Right? He also mentioned that it was going to essentially be True Detective, like almost kind of like a crime thriller in space. That's kind of what this film is. No?
It is, and on top of that, it's like a flashpoint, bro. It's a restart. If you think about it towards the end.
Right. Well, and before we get to the end, what I really wanted to focus on is just if they can adapt something like this for a TV show, this premise could be incredible. And because not only are you getting a lot of history about the Green Lantern Corps, you're also getting a lot of exposition of what else is out there, because we know James Gunn DC Universe is going to have people and beings already kind of practicing, who they are already in the comics. It's not going to be a bunch of origin stories left and right. So a story like this, where you're getting a John Stewart origin story, but he's being thrust into things that are already well established, I think was a great way to introduce this. I thought doing the Hal Jordan parallax storyline in this movie was also fantastic. I think that's something that they could definitely adapt in the live action TV show, because remember when James Gunn announced his slate, he mentioned that what they discover in this detective show in space is something that he said, quote, terrifying, and will have a lasting implication for the greater DC universe. And if you're talking about a Green Lantern show having multiple Green Lanterns, and we're not talking either Sinestro Corps and or Parallax, I don't know what that other horrifying, long implicating thing on the universe that you could be doing.
And Parallax has been used before, but in this particular way, before we get to the very end of it, let's go back to even like the homage of John Stewart and the overall the aura of his love life. You bring Hawkgirl and you bring Vixen in this. Like, you bring both of them inside this, okay? So if you watch the old Justice League, you're like, oh, I got a little throwback, a little payload homage. Then you bring Green Arrow is a beloved character to a lot of people, and also shows his relationship and friendship with Hal, and how he's focused on, hey, you're not the true Green Lantern. Let's go find who it is. And then we're even talking about how the Lantern went out and seek and find John. Like, that's just a different element to the whole thing. Normally, it's like, I'm finding a next person with hope. No, I mean willpower. It actually, Guardian went down there to find John.
Him specifically.
Yes, just him. And then you see how Green Arrow, and they went up to the Justice Tower. Manhunter was in there. It was really cool seeing the whole transaction of that. And then progressed to how space, there's already things going on. Like, John's just like a footnote in everything that's going on. You have a war already happening with Adam Strange. You had the whole Zada Beam going down, Hawkgirl's family. Like, just a lot happening on top of having Parallax and Hal Jordan storyline with Sinestro. That was so cool to me, because it wasn't like a predictable story. I really, really enjoyed that aspect of it. It was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think like they gave us a lot of different characters and a lot of backstory. I mean, we get the whole backstory about Thanagar and Ron, you know what I mean, about their war. You get a lot of exposition just about, you know, where Hawk Girl comes from and kind of how these things already work. So like we're already kind of like at the end of, you know, what we would call like the current Hal Jordan version of the Green Lantern Corps, because like you said, towards the end, John Stewart has to try and rebuild the Green Lantern Corps from scratch. He's the only one, right? So,
which I think is a perfect segue for moving forward. Like,
I think so too. Yeah,
everyone gets so enriched with history. I understand that history is important to tell the full story, but if I want to make my own chapter in this history, I can't always copy everyone else. I have to have my own twist. And that's the beautiful thing about writing and creating, is that I can give you a character, I give myself a character, and we have a different way of writing that character. So you can blend stories and do what you want. And you may not like my more aggressive or vicious character. You might like the more swavy type intellectual character you might put in. That's a beautiful thing, what you can do with these characters. So when you have films like this and the conclusion being what it was, with him having all the rings and then saying I have to rebuild, that was awesome. Like, I'm looking forward to another movie because I want to see what characters they bring. And that was just like a nice way of saying that the Lanterns belong in space, but they also have a connection to actual Earth, and that there's more than just one. You don't have to like every single Green Lantern. You have options. You can choose one you actually do like. I like that.
Yeah, I think, and I think going back to how this could play into like the live action TV show, the people who do want to see Hal Jordan, you could stretch this out. Like, you could do the same kind of parallax turn, but do it over the course of an entire TV season, right? So when you meet him in the first couple of episodes, he's still the Hal Jordan, you know, the greatest Green Lantern we've ever seen, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, which would make his turn into parallax that much more effective later on, right? And then you do usher in John Stewart as your new Green Lantern. He's rebuilding the Green Lantern Corps, so maybe in the future you get a Guy Gardner, you know, kind of situation, you know, down the road. Because I don't anticipate them making multiple Green Lantern movies. If they were, they would have already greenlit one. They're doing a TV show, so there's clearly something there that they see it working better on that medium than on the big screen. So, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I honestly, I don't know where some of the critics are giving it, you know, 6 out of 10s, 4 out of 10s. I enjoyed it. I would at least give it a 7. It was enjoyable. The writing was good. I thought the pacing was good. The twist at the end was good and not super predictable. I mean, me being a comic book head, as I'm watching the movie and I'm seeing, you know, certain things play out, I found myself kind of like watching it like with my headphones on. My wife is like sitting next to me. She's probably like, "This dork," because I'm like watching it and I'm like, okay, I see where you guys are going with this. Okay, cool.
And it's also funny you mentioned, because this particular movie, you can use it moving forward. Like, we are in a different era. This era of James Gunn is going to be something we never seen before. First of all, he's a different, odd character. So him having his hand on the actual DC universe, this is a film that I wouldn't mind you taking this and actually making it to your TV show. This is something different. Like, you tried Hal Jordan before.
Right.
It didn't work. You can't blame the actor because he went to play other films and he did great. It's not that. It's sometimes that one character is good for the Silver Age, which he was from. Great. Times have changed. It's okay. You can go back to it, but let's try something different.
And you know, I think that is the thing, and that's probably one of the biggest reasons why they chose to go with James Gunn as the new DC studio head, because they know that he's going to give us something different. We can't do the same things that we've been doing at DC because it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. We have to do something different. Even if it fails, what else were we going to do? We were going to do the same thing and it was going to fail. So you got to try something different. I mean, you know, Batman Brave and the Bold, we're jumping straight to Damian Wayne. We're jumping over Dick Grayson. We're jumping over Jason Todd, jumping over Tim Drake. We're going straight to Damian. Right. So I mean, again, swing for the fences, dude. I like it. I mean, let's do something different. I liked this movie, and I'm not even a outside of like reading comics. I'm not even like a big like cartoon Green Lantern kind of a guy. Like that's not something that I usually gravitate towards. But you know, you texted me the other day, and you were like, "Yeah, can we please talk about this?"
I think it's to talk about because like it's people forgot like sometimes the movies, the live action movies, they taint a character, and people forget that just because the live action film didn't work doesn't mean that the books are not great. Does not mean that the actual animation show they came from wasn't good. Like these characters are loved for a reason in order to even get a live action movie.
Right.
And because it may have didn't go as well, okay, chalk it up, move on. There's plenty of movies that didn't go well, but they keep putting out Superman movies over and over again, and we can go through a history of the ones that weren't that well. They weren't good.
And you know, and to that point, I think you have to have even more care with a character like Green Lantern because so many people don't know about them. Like you said, they can put out Superman and Batman and Spider-Man movies every other year. Doesn't matter how much they suck or how much the last one sucked. We're gonna watch it. I mean, we saw Justice League, and then a couple of years later, the Batman comes out, and it makes $800 million.
I personally
because he's Batman, but like you can't do the same thing with a Green Lantern because not a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people know who Green Lantern is, but they're not. He doesn't have the same diehard fan base where they're going to go see another Batman movie. They're going to go see another Superman movie. They're going to go see another Spider-Man movie. You have to handle these auxiliary characters outside of your Trinity with so much more care because you can't afford to fuck them up.
And I right now would honestly, in my personal opinion, I think if you were to tell me about Batman, Superman, and the Wonder Woman movie lineup versus, hey, I'm going to give you a Green Lantern, a Cyborg, and something different. The world's different. Like Black Panther showed you, it's different. Right. People are more open, more celebratory about things. And there's a fan base that's been craving this. Like their audience will come. They will do these things for these particular characters because they never had a chance to do it. This is the right time to strike it. And I think his story, if you want Hal Jordan, like think about it. Like we're just going into this whole part. You can keep on going with Hal Jordan as far as you want to. You can do Hal Jordan later on. You can bring him back to Blackest Night. There's a lot of history with that. But give John Stewart a shine. Like he is a beloved character for a reason.
Yeah.
Give him a shine. Agreed.
I mean, and there's been a lot of instances where he shared the page or the screen with Hal Jordan. So it's not like it's an either or thing. You can use them both. And I like that James Gunn, and we don't know what he has planned, but he says that there's going to be multiple lanterns. So like we're going to be thrust into this with a fully functioning Green Lantern Corps when that TV show does come out. So again, I feel like we talk a lot about, the upcoming TV show in the greater DC universe, but I think it's just because one of just the timing of this dropping last year.
Oh, they're dropping some stuff. Well, they know
they're dropping some stuff, man. They're I feel like they're slowly kind of like testing out some storylines here or there with the animated universe because they're trying to see. Don't think they're not paying attention to this shit.
Absolutely, bro. Even like we just talked about Superman one a couple weeks ago. They got a new episode on there now. Like, and then they're also showing the new insignia on top of the left corner, so hey, new episodes here. Click me again. Like they know they're doing. Oh yeah, you want this episode? You like these favorites? If you watch this, there's some Netflix stuff going on. Well, you might like these too. Like they are definitely.
But not only that. Like to that point, like I feel like they're trying to give us a little bit of a palate cleanser of a tonal shift of some of their characters in the upcoming DCU. Whether that's by design or that's just kind of how these projects kind of came out.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the tone of this animated Superman show. I'm looking at the tone of Beware My Power, and I'm like, I'm good. If you shoot this live action, I'm good. I'm good. If this is the direction you guys are going, I like it. I like it.
I'm being like down too much, but like my favorite character you can say is Venom. You can also argue other characters, but I think I'm always been a DC head. Like, and it came down to a core if I had to pick DC or Marvel because of the amount of, I'm gonna say B, C, and D list characters have so many good stories if you give them a chance. Versus Marvel is like they have their top heavy versus the bottom is but it's more like you know what's going on. There's so much depth with these characters, and you don't need a massive crossover storyline to draw the fans in to watch it. Like I would watch a Cyborg animation if they made one right now, or a live action, like something different. Like I like it a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, guys, let us know what you guys thought about this. If you guys haven't checked it out, check it out on Max. It's called Green Lantern: Beware My Power. I think you guys will really enjoy it. Don't listen to the critics. It's a very, very well put together animated film. The writing's great, the pacing's great, the story's great. Go check it out. Let us know what you guys thought. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tell your friends. Darron, it's a pleasure as always, bro. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.